You know what sound that is, folks? You betcha. That's another ElkWorks Noon Whistle. I'm Chris Trottier, and
I'm John Angelo. A little new format today. We're doing this together, and with us is Jerry Kroupa, International, located at 102 North Wisconsin. How are you, Jerry?
Doing well, guys. Thank you for having me on your program.
Yeah, thanks for taking time with us today. We're going to talk a little Elkhorn, a little housing market, and wherever we go from there.
I like it. I like it.
Jerry.
Awesome.
You moved here in middle school, right? You moved to Elkhorn?
Yeah. We moved up here when I was going in the 7th grade from western suburbs, Westchester, Illinois. Moved to Lauderdale Lakes, built a house on Sterlingworth Bay.
You took full advantage of that water skiing, snow skiing.
You know what? It was. We always vacationed at the Sterlingworth. My dad had snowmobiles and a boat, and his friends from the VFW down in Westchester also had the same activities that they like to do. So we would just meet at the Sterlingworth, 2 or 3 times in the summer, a couple times in the winter. And then I was just fortunate enough where my dad got transferred closer to the Wisconsin border and sold their house in Westchester and built a house up on Sterlingworth Bay. We actually bought it through Jim Biaggi and Al Rockwell had Lauderdale Lakes Realty, and Norm Quass and his son built our house.
Oh, wow.
Some Elkhorn names right there, right?
Yeah, so you're dropping all the names today. Well, we're glad you moved, and we're glad you're a 1982 grad of Elkhorn Area School District. And you've made your life here as well, right?
I always dreamed of living up here as a young kid and going through high school, and then graduating from UW-Whitewater. I had a communication and marketing degree. I was destined to be in sales, and decided I didn't want to travel, and had exposure up here through my friend's parents. Jim Biaggi was an developer, realtor. Kitty Seymour was a realtor as well, and then hanging out with Chris Biaggi and Joe Seymour and Mr. Seymour, Dan Seymour, when he ran the Sterlingworth and had the golf course, Lauderdale Golf Course, and then eventually Evergreen. Just got to meet a lot of successful people and were able to take in their views and watch them operate, and sort of grew from there.
You've been very successful in real estate over the years, and
well, at first it wasn't easy. Let me tell you, as a young man starting out, I mean, we didn't even have a fax machine, and computers were barely available back in '89. Used to get a MLS book twice a month, and you'd page through it, and then you take the property and put it on the copy machine and enlarge it, and then you put it in this thing called an envelope and put a stamp on it, and mail it to your buyer wherever he was, whether it was in Wisconsin or Illinois, and hope to hear from him. So it was a little different. And then when the internet came out, every brokers were panicking that it was going to take the job away from realtors, but it actually enhanced our ability to market properties.
So here's a question I have for you. So you started to go down the line of like how the real estate market has changed, and you got into it through a background in sales, and sounds like you were mentored and had some really good support people who kind of guided you through the process. I've had some kids who have been interested in going into real estate. Talk a little bit through your lens. What are some of the skills, attributes, dispositions that somebody that you've seen over your career who is successful in it really need to have before they make a commitment in this profession?
Well, obviously, communication's the number one thing. Once you go out, you get your listing, you bring your material and so forth, but guiding them through the process of selling their home, and then more importantly, once you get an offer in, you have 3 negotiations. I always say you have the initial, you're negotiating the initial offer, and then you have the wonderful home inspection done, where that opens up a whole other items that you have to figure out. And as realtors, a lot of times, my clients are from Illinois. and they're not up here. So I end up being the general contractor on hiring, plumbers like Don Sakala, John Sakala, Southern Lakes Plumbing, electricians, Jeff Weiner, Jeff Lindenberg, and all the other Randy Breber who helps me out on side jobs as well. Fixing, making problems go away so the property closes, and that's a whole different skill within itself.
You mentioned when we were talking in the pre-show that you do about 30 interviews a day or a week or whatever it is. That's an interesting way to think about your job.
Well, honestly, so I probably go on at least 30 listing appointments, if not more. So every time you're walking in, you're doing a job interview. So it's a lot of people get freaked out about doing one or two job interviews in their lifetime. As a realtor, you're doing you're interviewing, you're selling yourself every time you walk into a potential listing.
Yeah.
I'm curious. We hear this. John and I are obviously engaged heavily with the community and local employers. What in your travels, what do you hear from buyers, home buyers about like what brings them to this area? Like, what's the attraction?
Well, one of the major attractions is the school system. You guys, have done a phenomenal job and people really look towards the Elkhorn School District to bring their kids in. And then not only that, but you have the great quaint little town of Elkhorn with the chamber that I think does a phenomenal job promoting the community with all the activities they have. Then you have the natural beauty of Lauderdale Lakes. You have the Kettle Moraine State Forest. You have hiking, mountain biking, cross-country skiing. And I think what sets us apart is when we don't have, the big box stores in our town. And when you drive around in the country, it's not heavily, it's not, you don't see a lot of homes scattered throughout. It's quaint little subdivisions or you see woods or cornfield. Yeah, and it's a lot quieter than Lake Geneva. Everyone drives down to Lake Geneva, which is great. It's 20 minutes away if you want to go have fun down there. It's accessible, but you don't have to live there to take advantage of it.
There's probably a lot of that when you say, beauty around us that we take for granted because we live here every day.
That is so true. Living through the road construction of Highway 12, turned our little County H. I live off of Bubbling Springs. County H was a super highway, and me and my fiance Lynn, we like to ride our bikes on the road, and it was just there was no way we were going out there. It was intense. It was so we ended up doing a little more mountain biking this year because you're throwing your bike in the truck anyway. You might as well go hang out in the woods.
Yeah. So John and I were just at a meeting. Well, the Elkhorn Economic Development Alliance is talking about some new properties and development happening in Elkhorn, and obviously at the county level, Wasitas and the county are working together on housing. And obviously we just got done with the presidential election, and there was conversations about that. So I guess we're going to tap into your wisdom. Like, what's the current state of the housing market? Is a buyer seller market? Where do you see it going? Talk a little bit about the market.
Well, so the market's really strong in my opinion. You watch properties come up in Elkhorn and they're normally under contract within, a couple weeks, if not days. So there's always more there's more buyers than there are sellers at this point, which definitely still makes it a seller's market. And with the talk of new housing developments starting up, like down by Delavan Lake and I think south of Elkhorn too. I don't know if it's apartment buildings or single family. It's going to bring more people in the area, and it's just going to increase demand. So honestly, I don't see prices going down. I see them escalating like they have been. Interest rates did take a spike, but it still hasn't stopped first-time home buyers from buying properties. I deal with a lot of first-time home buyers as well, and these are young kids that are, going out there. and buying $250,000 homes, which is just, just mind boggling. So
do you see a certain price range that's really attractive now, or is it just very?
Well, yeah, it's like, in let's say Elkhorn, Sugar Creek, Lafayette, LaGrange, Richmond, anything between 250 and 350 are hot properties that are going to fly off the shelf.
Is the lake market still pretty good? The
lake market's been, once again, there's more buyers than there are homes for sale. We had a really strong year selling homes on Lauderdale once again. I see that increasing now that we made it through the presidential election. I think a lot of people are going to be a little more eager to get out there and find the right home for their summer fun. Or winter fun. It doesn't matter. It's always fun out at Lauderdale Lakes. I'm sure you guys have been at the Landing, Half Price Pizza.
There you go.
Outside bar. They got great bands there.
It's busy.
Busy, always busy. Yeah, they do a great job out there. Great group of owners that purchase that.
Yeah, bands out there. I mean, they got something going all the time.
That's great. Anything else, Jerry, you want to touch base on the housing market or anything you're focused on right now that you want to share with the people who are either they know you and tell your story, or maybe you're introducing yourself to? I mean, obviously you got that great hat on. That looks good.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
I'm available to discuss real estate anytime. If you want to stop in my office, I'm normally here from 9 to 1 o'clock every day, Monday through Friday. You could call me. You could email me. You could text me. I'm always eager to talk to buyers and sellers about real estate, and would like to help people find their perfect real estate dream. So,
any size home, any client, you're open to all.
You know what? It doesn't matter. So I'm open for business. Give me a call. I love the city of Elkhorn. Had great time growing up here. It was a time of no cell phones and no internet, and you go outside and ride your bike or go water skiing or whatever, play baseball through, whatever, basketball. It was a great time to grow up.
That's awesome.
Well, we'd like people to communicate with you so you could give them the great Christmas gift of a new home.
Exactly, John. I like your train of thought there.
See, look at that plug. All right. Well, we know your time's precious. We're getting to the end of our show here, but you were just talking about growing up. We like when we have alumni on, and you did a great little plug there for the school district as it relates to home values and drawing people into the community. Tell us a little bit about who are some of your favorite teachers growing up, coaches, anybody?
Well, at 7th and 8th grade, Larry Bray. I remember Larry. Gary Lewis. In high school, Miss Kapanke. She was fun. Mr. Warner. He's an English teacher. I don't think I'm saying his name. Mr. The AV teacher.
Delicky.
There we go. He always had an entertaining class. That was a lot of fun. And earlier on, I mean, who was the principal? Fred. Suki was when I was a freshman, and then and Dean, great fun guys. I remember sitting in their office once in a while. I don't know why, they just pulled me in and harassed me, but just the whole overall experience of going to high school, and still retaining. I think we had a class of 160. We just had a high school reunion, our 40th. We had a good turnout there. But there's a lot of people that have stayed in Elkhorn, that you could see at all these events that they have, like Oktoberfest or at the flea markets. I always run into people that I went to high school with, and it's always nice chatting with them.
Yeah, I think that's impressive.
Or hanging out with them. I still have we do a lot of stuff. So
I think what's impressive about Elkhorn is there's so many people that have stayed around the area, but there's also so many people that have invested in the community with their careers, whether it's owning a business or other things. It's really a neat thing that those that know the most have invested it back in the community that they were raised in.
Well, Well, you look at that. I mean, you have Scott Lask at the Ford dealership. You have Bobby Lancer at Napa. You have the Weddage boys at the Radiator Shop.
Yeah.
I'm sure I'm missing a lot more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, you're right.
No,
I think there's about 75 that we know of here that are alumni that are business owners.
Yeah. No, it's a huge number. It's great to see. You know, like Doug Olson Land Surveying. He does a great job as well. So yeah, no, it's fun to, you know, to do business with people that you know that love the community. So
yeah, well, thank you for your time today. We appreciate it.
Yeah,
I'm so glad you got me on. It was fun talking to you too.
you bet. And on that note,
have a Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.
Yep, same to you. Take care. And on that note, let's go back to work, Jerry.
Thank you.